Civil engineer reincarnated with production magic, he built a fortress at the dungeon entrance with just one reinforcement spell a day. Not even a dragon could break through. James hadn't planned on opening the dungeon this early, but after taking in a large group of refugees, their stored supplies were running dangerously low. The dungeon was their only option to replenish resources. Grace had already left for the royal capital to petition his father. By the time his father found out about the dungeon, James would already be an independent noble no longer at risk of having his territory stripped away. The opening of a new dungeon would inevitably draw adventurers to the village. To prevent them from disrupting the villagers' way of life, James decided to build an adventurer town outside the main settlement. What would take others months of backbreaking work was child's play for James. As long as the villagers hauled over the materials, he could conjure up an entire town in minutes. Just then, a group of rough-looking people with wild hairstyles came charging toward them. James initially thought they were clueless bandits rushing to their doom, but it turned out they just looked intimidating. They were actually a friendly bunch of adventurers who'd heard about the new dungeon opening and rushed over. When the adventurers saw the towering walls behind James, they couldn't believe their eyes. This place used to be a rundown village. James casually activated his production magic and generated the main gate and fence for the adventurer town right before them. The adventurers were so shocked they started spouting nonsense. Finally realizing this kid was the legendary dragon-slaying lord himself, the vice captain's anger instantly maxed out. He demanded to know who dared disrespect his lord. The adventurers didn't take him seriously at first until he unleashed a single slash that shattered every one of their swords. That instantly earned their respect, and they acknowledged him as their boss on the spot. Since dungeon entrances constantly spawned monsters, there was rarely time to establish a proper base. Lily asked James for help, but he wasn't thrilled about it. Leaving the safety of home meant danger. He'd only agree if the adventurers escorted him the entire way, and he'd only handle construction. He wouldn't help clear the dungeon itself. James thought these conditions were harsh enough, but Lily happily agreed. She'd make his safety her top priority. After all, where else would she find a production genius like him? The adventurers kept their promise, staying glued to James's side the entire journey. Any monster that dared cross their path didn't even get close to touching his clothes. What should have been a perilous trek felt more like a family outing to James. Eventually they reached a dangerous rope bridge. The adventurers actually started dancing on it, which drove James crazy. As a former civil engineer, he couldn't stand such hazardous infrastructure. He immediately generated a sturdy arch bridge on the spot and led everyone safely across the ravine. For the dungeon entrance that constantly spawned monsters, James created a steel gate reinforced with mithril plating. Even a city-destroying green forest dragon like the one before would need at least a full day to break through. He then ordered the adventurers to bring materials and built them a perfect base using the same level of security. The base had everything they needed. The first floor was a warehouse for storing loot. The second floor featured a dining hall large enough for everyone to eat together. The third floor had a dormitory with individual beds for each person. The fourth floor was a spacious observation deck for entertainment and stress relief. On the roof, James installed a rainwater collection system. While not drinkable, it was more than sufficient for cleaning and washing up. The adventurers had never experienced such luxury. They looked ready to settle down here permanently.